Hello everybody and welcome to Andrew Rants, the video series where I stand upon my metaphorical soapbox pedestal of the world and I bitch and complain, I rant, I rave, and I yell and I scream about things that annoy me, bother me, and just plain drive me insane. And today, can't believe I haven't done this already. I actually went back through my rant videos to make sure I didn't accidentally do this before and I'm going to be copying myself, but I don't think I did. I can't believe I never talked about Toonami on any of my rant videos. I mean, I liked Toonami. I always did as a kid. It was one of my favorite programming blocks on Cartoon Network. And it's interesting when it came back. I was saddened when I found out that it had left us. There was a hole in my heart that would never be filled. And I was more excited when I found out that it was coming back in May of 2012. I was ecstatic. I was like a freaking 5-year-old on, Christmas morning, hyped up with sugar. Nothing could have disappointed me that day. Nothing. The world could have ended and I wouldn't have cared. But every time, though, I was always thinking about this, especially nowadays as years have gone by, and now it's going to be 7 years soon. And it made me think about it for a moment, and I'm going, well, how come Toonami hasn't just gotten their own channel at this point? I mean, let's face it, Adult Swim is hanging on literally by a wing and a prayer. Their best running show that they have is Rick and Morty, and right now it's just doing syndicated reruns if they're even still showing it. And with season 4 Promise on the way, at least I assume it's still coming out, unless hell froze over and they stopped it, or Justin Roiland decided screw this crap. We know that Adult Swim recently got into bed with Crunchyroll to start mass producing their own anime series, to have distributing rights for everything else in the world, and I'm fine with that. Well, okay, I'm not entirely psyched about it, and I'm not super ecstatic about it, but it's one of those meh, okay things. I can live with it. I'm not happy about it, but I can live with it. But I've always been wondering why Toonami just can't get its own dedicated streaming channel. Now, way back when Toonami originally came out, it had its own streaming network. It was Toonami Faithful. Then Toonami went to Toonami Jetstream. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me, no, Toonami Faithful wasn't a streaming site. If it had, clips in that, back in the time when Toonami came out, I'm considering it a streaming site, because Toonami came out in the late 90s. The internet was just barely born at that point. It was still an infant. So as far as I'm concerned, if it had video clips up and you could watch it, that was a streaming site back then. Not by nowadays standards, but back then it was. But Toonami Jetstream was your main go-to for a lot of the anime stuff. It was all Toonami really was. It was originally started off as old Hanna-Barbera cartoons and old some of those cartoons. But still, that's where Toonami drew its massive crowd, was because of the anime influence that it gathered later on, with Gundam Wing, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, just to name some of the heavy hitters. So with Toonami Jetstream going on, it was basically your standalone streaming site. It basically allowed you to watch, shows I'm going to quote some of their topics that I can remember, some of the titles. Mega Man Star Force. There was some Dragon Ball Z on there. I'm almost sure of it. I don't remember if One Piece was on there. I know some Sailor Moon was on there. They had some Naruto. That was just some of the stuff that they had on there. Some of the stuff that they had on the actual Toonami block, they had on there, if not some extra stuff. And it did extremely well. Now, yes, there were point in times when it did other things, if I remember correctly, so it wasn't all dedicated 100% to anime. God, I wish it would have just stayed that way, but it wasn't, so that was fine. But I did enjoy, the whole anime aspect of it. And this just makes me wonder more, especially now with more and more sites and apps becoming streaming related, why Toonami just can't go stream. Just go the stream route. Cartoon Network's not going to be hanging on much longer. Their writing's on the wall for them, and they know this. They're doomed in the water. Cable companies are ditching channels left and right. They're ditching providers. They're telling people, look, your channels aren't going to be with us anymore because we're not paying them to have it, because Nobody has cable anymore. I mean, do you know anybody that actually has cable? That still has cable, that actually uses it? No, because the majority of people use their smartphones. I still don't know why we need those. But a majority of people either use smartphones, tablets, computers, and stuff like that to look up the stuff online because they can get it faster. You want to watch a soap opera? There's an entire app for that. You want cooking shows? There's an app for that. Do you want game shows? Good news! There's an app for that. There's an app for everything. So cable television is just going away, and sadly, a lot of the programming blocks that are on there are in danger and jeopardy of going away. Now, I'm not saying go out and get a cable, subscription and subscribe to a cable company. Hell no. Don't do that. That's a waste of money. Because you're going to get suckered in with the sports channels, and you don't need that. You can pull all that up online. There's an app for that, too. But some of these programming blocks I don't think deserve to die off, especially ones that have a humongous fan base like Toonami does. Because Toonami fans were saddened when it died off in 2008. I had to think there for a moment. When it died off in 2008 and it ended, and then when it came back in 2012 as an April Fool's joke, it was humongously popular. It just blew the hell up. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, do you want it back? Let us know. And they got overwhelmed with responses. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. The fan base wasn't dead. Especially if there was a fan-made site called Neo Toonami that filled the bill after Toonami Jetstream died off and was officially taken down. Neo Toonami filled the bill of, hey, we're going to basically be in command of this. We're in charge. So you had this wonderful little luxury type of deal going on with Toonami, with Neo Toonami, which wasn't affiliated with actual Toonami, but was enough for fans to keep them occupied until either Cartoon Network yanked their heads out of their ass, or somebody decided, hey, I want Toonami on my channel, bring it on over here. Which, in all honesty, I would have taken that too. But I was more excited when it came back. But I just want to go over a couple things here, if I may, for this. And this isn't my typical rant video, because I'm usually getting more pissed off and annoyed by now, and that'll probably come a little later on. But I'd like to know why we just haven't had this. I mean, with so many channels and programming block opportunities going app-wise. I mean, you have Adult Swim app, and there's a Toonami section on there because Toonami's part of Adult Swim. But, and I mean no disrespect to the Adult Swim fan community, but I would rather not have my anime show, my anime programming block, the thing that brings me so much nostalgic joy from my childhood, lumped in with stoner programming. And like I said, I mean no disrespect, but that's what I don't want. Adult Swim's fine to have Toonami because it's more adult-oriented then. But if Toonami would go mainstream and actually just get their own damn streaming service, branch the hell away from Cartoon Network, ditch their asses to the wall, and say, look, we want out of this relationship, we don't like you anymore, we don't trust you. You're going to take us down again, and the fans are not going to have us. We have fans. I guarantee you that they could survive on their own. They could do a paid and a free platform, sort of like what Crunchyroll does, where you can, log in and subscribe to Toonami. Let's just run a hypothetical scenario here. So let's say in a perfect universe, Toonami decides to tell Cartoon Network to shove it. They say, look, take this relationship and shove it. We want out. We're done with you. Go to hell, bite us. We want a divorce. So they leave Cartoon Network. They leave Adult Swim, flipping them the middle bird all the way. First off, like I said, perfect world. It's not going to happen, but it'd be a perfect world. So Cartoon Network and Toonami are now separated. Toonami decides we're going to launch ourselves in our own way. We're going to have an app. We're going to go mainstream. We're going to bam this thing to the wall. And they go and start up a streaming service like Crunchyroll, or they partner with Crunchyroll even. And Crunchyroll's like, yeah, we'll fund you some cash for this. That's not a problem. And they start off with a paid membership. And they offer both a free and paid membership program where, hey, do you want to catch anime the same day it's released in Japan? Well, if you pay, let's say, we'll go I'll go relatively about the same price at Crunchyroll. It's about $14.99. I think Crunchyroll's still at, unless they jacked up their price. I don't know. Let's say that you pay $14.99 for us a month. You can get not only premium anime from Japan simul-dubbed with our releases, but you get behind-the-scene content and you can watch it the same day it's released. Or if you want the free version, you can watch it the next day or 2 days down the road after it's released. But if you want it right smack dab now, $14.99 a month and it's all yours. If you want to go for the platinum package, it'd be $25.99 a month. And the thing is that fans would probably pay for this. I mean, release some Toonami swag along the way, like, hey, sign up for, Toonami app or Toonami stream service package, and you get, like, some neat little swag, like a Toonami t-shirt, Toonami baseball cap, a Toonami hoodie, Toonami backpack, a figure of Tom, stuff like that, and throw in, like, some interesting things. And I know they have, like, a loot box, or they had something like that. I don't know if they still do, or if they were part of a loot box thing, or a loot crate thing, I don't remember. But either way, have something like that. And it would go gangbusters. I mean, I can't guarantee it, but it would probably take off. Because people would have an alternative to Crunchyroll, but it would still be with Crunchyroll because that would be sharing anime titles. Now, granted, Toonami could have some of their own. They could do their own, like, dedicated, look, we're going to do, like, a total immersion event thing. They could do their own movies or something. Like, hey, have Tom and Sarah go on an adventure in the Vindication. Or, flashback to the original, Intruder and expand upon it. Make it like each of those 5 or so episodes. I'd really have to double check the amount of episodes the Intruder was, the first one. I know 5 was the main one for the week, and I think there was like 2 or 3 more after that, so at least like 7 or 8. Okay, so like at least 8 episodes. You could just expand those instead of it being like X amount of minutes long per episode. They'd be like 15 minutes long per episode. And have those come out alongside of anime releases. With so much anime, you get the licensing rights. Just make some deals and you could probably get some. Or like I said, team up with Crunchyroll and, tag team this. Crunchyroll could probably go, look, we have some titles that we don't want to have on ours and you can have like a mature section for, titles that may be a little too graphic to show, like has massive amounts of blood or a massive amount of violence, and have like a kid-friendly section where they could watch like Hamtaro and stuff like that. Those would be stuff that you could easily do and still have a tremendous amount of following. But in all honesty, they got to get the hell away from Cartoon Network to do any of that. And like I said, that's the scenario for a perfect world. But sadly, we don't live in a perfect world. If we did, I would be a billionaire, and I would never have to care. I mean, in all honesty, I would just sit at home all day and make YouTube videos. Or I would sit at home all day and review video games, or review toys, and review a whole bunch of other electronics and things like that to help everybody. I would give more back, because I wouldn't be burdened with I gotta go to work and make some money. No, I could enjoy stuff, and I could watch Toonami 24/7 if they had a stupid app! And I went full circle. But no, seriously, I mean, I don't understand why they don't just have an app for this. Toonami is one of the biggest things, will always be a humongous thing. Even if the nostalgic value of it doesn't hold up, it's still going to hold against the test of time. But what annoys me is the fact that it doesn't have its own app in an era of apps. There's an app for every goddamn thing you can think of. I want to know what my height measurement is. There's an app for that. I want to know how much I weigh. There's an app for that. I want to know how long it takes to cook an egg in 45 seconds. There's a kitchen timer for that, but there's even an app for that. We got apps out our ass, but the stuff that we need an app for, it doesn't have one. But yet, that's an idea. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think Toonami needs its own app? And it finally needs to get into the mainstream streaming community, where it can finally do some good, not be sheltered and sequestered by the horde of Adult Swim and Cartoon Network. And it can be free to be on 24/7, like anime all day on Pluto or something like that. Or do you think it's just a pipe dream of a crazy man? Let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes, And this has been another episode of Andrew Rants.